Hey guys, David here. Central Cal Piper coming to you on a Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday, July the 9th, 2025. Thought I would just come to you and do another one of those questions for my daughter Emily. I've got nothing better to do right now. Not to say that it's not important, but I'm saying this because I'm not feeling very well and haven't been able to do any other physical activities really today. So I thought it'd be good to knock out another one of those questions. So coming to you with my trusty old basket pipe that my son Spencer gave to me. I've got some haunted bookshop loaded up in it. Let me see what else can I show you here. Trying to get, I've got tobacco stacked. My outside tobacco desk has become quite cluttered. So again, I'm talking about these books here. My father's story. Today's question is, what were your hobbies when you were young? What did you enjoy? So that's what I'll be addressing this afternoon. My hobbies when I was young. Uh, Probably the earliest hobby that I remember was collecting Matchbox cars. Those little $1 cars uh, that you could get at the neighborhood drugstore or toy store, or whatever. There was a little store here in Oildale called Baker's Drug Store, and my mom used to go there, and she would buy perfume and things like that. And they always had a little toy counter in the store. They had a spinning display with Matchbox cars. They were $1 each. I remember from back then, and they were just neat little toys. So I began collecting my Matchbox cars at a very early age, and I really enjoyed doing that. I had quite a few of those. Um, that was probably my first hobby, thing that I really enjoyed or got into. As I got older, I became interested in other forms of gadgetry, electronics primarily, and the electronics that I enjoyed, uh, well, they had these box kits. They were all-in-one kits that were sold by Radio Shack. And you get this kit, and it had a booklet with it, a project kit. Basically, it was an electronic circuit inside a wooden box, and it had springs in it. So it came with wires, different lengths of wires. So you would put these wires in these springs to design various electronic things, projects. So the book had these instructions like connect a red wire between 1A and 13C. That was the first step, and then go on through all these steps. And when you were done, you had a working gadget of some sort. And it took batteries, so basically you were learning how to, light up a light bulb or make a noise with a little buzzer or something like that. And they had all kinds of projects about it. They had them like 20 in one project, and all the way up to I think 50 in one or maybe 100 in one. And the more projects you had, of course, the more expensive the box was. I'll try to get a picture of that and put it right here, if I can find it. But those were excellent toys. I had those for a number of years. I had a friend named Johnny Bear. His father was an electrician, and he's the one that got me into those. So we would talk about our electronic kits. We'd go to Radio Shack and get those, and had all sorts of fun with those. I've always loved electronic gadgetry. I remember once having a boy named Brian Moore. He brought to school a wireless microphone. I had never heard of such a thing. I don't know if he brought a transistor radio with him, but it was so cool because you could talk into this microphone and your voice would come out on the radio. So, of course, I had to get one. Also, again, at Radio Shack. Had a lot of fun with that thing. Got a walkie-talkie once at Radio Shack. Just one, because it was really expensive, but you listen to people using their CB radios, and I thought that was mightily entertaining. And I always remember talking to a lady. I couldn't, transmit. It was a very weak signal. The input on the signal that I put out was very weak. So I remember I couldn't talk to anyone. So if I couldn't say anything and someone heard me, I was really excited. So I just remember one time there was a lady with the call sign Little Smoker. I remember talking to her. I was just a kid. I had no idea who she was or what she did, but her name was call name was Little Smoker. So I remember talking to her a couple times on my walkie-talkie when I was about probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old, maybe 10. Great fun. Um, I had other electronics. I bought a remote control tank one time that basically, there's a big store here in town called Woody's Toy Circus, and I got it in my head that I wanted a remote control tank. So I got this tank and it had a remote control, but it wasn't really all that great because it would go forward and you press one button and turn to the right, turn to the left. So it wasn't quite all that I thought it would be, but it was still fun nonetheless. And then there were the Firebug toys that I had, different things that you get on the 4th of July. I remember once getting a cannon called the Big Bang Cannon. Now, this thing was really cool because it made a loud noise. There weren't many fireworks in the state of California that you could get that would make a lot of noise, but this puppy, boy, it made a loud noise. So I remember it was a little cast iron cannon with the color of like army green, and you would put water in this little tank, and then it had a little igniter that would come out, and you put this calcium carbonate, I think it was, as a powder that when mixed with water made a basically a flammable gas, and then you would push the igniter, it would ignite it, and it would explode. So I had a fun time with that thing. Of course, the neighbors hated me because anyone who had a dog would send the dogs flying, and my friend, he loved it as well as I did, but his mom came down and told us that every time we did that, her Irish setter was jumping onto the kitchen counter, so we had to stop. Fun while it lasted. So those are some of the things that I remember um, really liking when I was a boy. And hope you found this entertaining, if nothing else. And Emily, this is for you, sweetheart, so that you can have your questions answered in that book. Well, God bless y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.